Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I teach horses to do a flying change. This is actually quite a commonly requested video. I guess there's a lot of advantages to have a horse that does a flying change, especially in show jumping. It's a lot smoother around the course. Your horse won't go disunited. You have better balance to the jumps, better balance around the turns. It's definitely very, very helpful. Now this is obviously from a show jumper's point of view. This is not a dressage flying change. This is just my way of teaching it. But I do think it will help anyone that watches the video, and I hope you guys enjoy. So before we get into the video, I wanted to say a quick thank you to Wild for partnering with me on this video. Wild is a vegan and cruelty-free brand that is bringing sustainability to the beauty and skincare market. This is really important to me. It's important that I work with brands that care about the same things I do, like animal welfare and the environment. So I'm thrilled to be working with Wild again. I have used their products for a few years now, so you guys know all about it, but I will tell you again. So Wild make reusable aluminium deodorant cases and reusable body wash bottles and lip balms. So they actually have a limited edition sunflower case at the moment. Look how cute it is. It is cute, isn't it? And the two refills that they've sent me are the coconut almond cream, which I had a coconut one before that I really liked, but this one's different. Like, the almond cream is almondy, and I have an almond body wash, so might actually fit out well. But the one I am really excited about actually is the Sicilian Summer. One, because I don't want summer to be over, okay? If anything just keeps summer going with me, even if it's deodorant, then I'm happy with that. And two, yeah, it's very citrusy. I think it'll keep you fresh even after riding many horses and working in the yard all day. I know obviously the sustainability, having natural ingredients and everything is also important, but it also needs to work. And it does. I put it on in the morning, I ride 10 horses, muck out of the stables, I'm on the yard all day, and at the end of the day, I'm still feeling, in my opinion, relatively fresh. I haven't had any complaints about the smell of me after a day in the yard, so I'm presuming it works. So the Wild products actually can work on a subscription service. So you get your reusable case and then they can send you the refills on a subscription basis. So if you head to their website, you can use the link in the description or the QR code. You can use my code Holly Lenehan for 20% off. So that's on anything in the store. So the cases, the deodorant, lip balm, body wash, anything. So if you would like, I would definitely check that out. So yes, thank you so much again to Wild for partnering with me on this video. It's great to work with Wild again, and I hope you guys give it a go and try it out. So we'll let you get back to the video. So for me, the flying change comes from a good quality of canter. The way I teach them is I kind of just teach the canter to be so good and for the horse to be so on the aid and supple that the natural progression is that they just do a flying change. Like, I'm not teaching them to do a flying change, I'm just putting everything in place so that when I do ask, it makes sense and they're able to do it. So that's kind of the vibe behind it. I'm actually just down the yard now to feed the horses. So I'm going to show you guys on Dali, who is a 9-year-old experienced, can do them no problem, just because I can really show you exactly what I do and make it kind of quite exaggerated. And then I'm going to show you on a 5-year-old who has only been broken since the end of last year. She's only been here a few months, so she's just learned how to do them. But she might make a mistake, and then I can show you like how I work through the mistakes. So yeah, I will feed the horses, get everything going, and then when I ride those two horses, I will get some videos and I will talk you guys through it. Okie dokie, I'm on horse number 1. This is Dali. He's a 9-year-old. He jumps up to 140, very experienced. However, he was not taught to do flying changes with this technique because he was taught to do flying changes 5 years ago. When was he 4? So previously had a bit of anxiety around changes. He is a horse that really like preempts what you want to do. Like, he really wants to please, so he's always like thinking like, what do I need to do next? So I think that because I wasn't asking him in a very good way, and he was so eager to please but didn't really understand, he got a little bit stressed about them. Since now kind of retraining him like this, way better, like way better. However, you will see he swishes his tail, he opens his mouth. That is because this horse swishes his tail constantly. I just have to say it because every time I post a video of him, I get comments saying that he's in pain, and I promise you, he has a full set of x-rays, and he even went through a whole lameness, flexions, trot up, etc. at the start of the season, and he is 100%. His back is 100%, there's no pain. He had the physio a month ago. She said he felt great. So his horse is not in pain, he just swishes his tail. And yeah, I ride him in a snaffle, no flash, no spurs when I'm training, because I just want to have as little as possible. So yes, okay, sometimes he swishes his tail and, you know, pushes his head and opens his mouth. He's not a dressage horse, but he tries his best, okay? So now that that's out of the way, we'll get going. So first up on the checklist is, does my horse move away from my leg? So this is not really leg yielding because it's not very straight, but I'm just trying to show you guys like an exaggerated, can you get your horse to move away from your leg just by putting pressure, just kind of on the girth. This is your first step. So first try in a straight line, maybe try just towards the arena, just towards the track, and then try away from the track, and then try a sort of zigzag motion like this, just to make sure that they're sharp and listening to you. Next up is doing some circles with an inside bend and an outside bend. Again, I'm doing it extremely exaggerated on Dali, just so it's really clear in the video, because sometimes I think it can be hard to see, but now I'm watching back, I'm like, okay, that was very obvious. So you can see here I'm doing a circle with him bent to the left, and now I'm switching and I'm doing a circle with him bent to the right. So it's essentially, leg yielding him around the circle with the outside leg, and you're trying not to hold him there with your reins. You can see that I'm giving slack in my reins, so I'm asking him and then I give slack, and you're trying to keep them in the place that you want them to be with your legs, not with your hands. So they're holding themselves up, you're just supporting with your legs. So once you have it in the trot on both reins, then it's time to think about the canter. So does the horse understand the aid to canter? So the aid to canter is inside leg on the girth, outside leg behind the girth. Can you walk? And then if you give that cue, will they canter on the correct lead? So you can see from that angle where my inside leg is, just on the girth. And you see as I come around, this is Dali anticipating me asking him to canter. You can see I put my outside leg behind the girth, and that's his cue to canter. So it needs to be very clear. And not only can you pick up the left lead canter on the left rein, but can you go on the right rein and pick up the left lead canter? Just so it's really clear that they're picking up the correct lead because you're asking them, not because they know kind of what they should be doing. So then it's time to do the same circle exercise, but in the canter. So I'm asking him to have an inside bend, and then I'm asking him to canter with an outside bend. This is more difficult than in the trot because you're kind of going against their natural canter lead, but it is very important that they're able to do it. They're supple, they're listening to you, they're balanced, they can carry themselves. So not all horses that can do a flying change can do this, but if you're having trouble teaching your horse, then these kind of exercises will help you. So now it's time to ask for the change. So what I do is I come around with that outside bend. So you're already on the bend that you're going to be changing onto. I then put my new inside leg on the girth, leg yield them towards the left, and then 3, 2, 1, put my new outside leg back, and that's the cue to change. You can see he did a very exaggerated change because I was very exaggerated asking him. And then just the same on the other rein, outside bend, new inside leg, which is my left leg on the girth, leg yielding him towards the right, then I count down 3, 2, 1, then you see my right leg, which is my new outside leg, moves back, and that's the cue to change. I think it is handy to kind of count yourself down, like 3, 2, 1, change. But that is it, basically. that is the thing. So there he anticipated the change. He didn't go off the aid. He went off the aid with the inside leg, because again, I'm doing this very exaggerated. He's like, what the heck are we doing? So I do it like this once more, and then I show you more on a straight line. So once the horse is kind of getting it, and this isn't all going to happen in one session, like, you know, it's taking you time. You don't want the horse to get stressed. They need to be relaxed so they can learn. So then you come around and then you start looking for, you know, your normal inside bend, then ride straight, then ask for the change, then get your new inside bend. So that's what you're working towards. So you kind of do it exaggerated to start so the horse understands, and then you get more towards a normal flying change. And then you start working towards doing it on a straight line, so it's not always just on the diagonal. So here you can see that I'm looking for a change on the straight, up the long side, and then change back. I was kind of just on a stretching ride, so that's why my reins are so loose, and he's kind of in a quite a loose frame. If I was really trying to be a proper dressage rider, I would sit him up and, you know, shorten my reins and get him more on his bum and, you know, do more of a correct change rather than a front end first and then hind end. But these are perfectly fine for show jumping. So the second horse is Ariel. So Ariel is a 5-year-old. She was broken last year, so she's in work, you know, about a year, but she's only been here a few months. So she has started doing her changes. She has basically checked off everything on a little checklist of things that she should be able to do in the canter, to be able to do a flying change, and therefore she does them probably like 90% of the time. So I will show you how she's going, demonstrate the kind of the same like little checklist of things, and then I will do the flying change, and then I'll see how straight I can get it. So I want to see if I can start getting it, you know, more straight rather than having to leg yield her into it. So I will show you how we progress with that. So now we are on to Ariel. So this is me doing my kind of checklist, my trotting. Can I trot with an outside bend, with an inside bend? Is she moving off my leg? You'll find a lot of horses tend to be one-sided, so find it easier one way than the other. That's very natural, same as we're a bit one-sided. So this is just her little trotting part. So she has a lot of blood. She's like 80% thoroughbred. So with her, I find it very important, and with all the horses, that she stays relaxed in it. I don't want her getting tense and, you know, anticipating. So one thing that can help if you find the horse is getting a little bit confused or a little bit stressed is that if you come around and instead of asking for the change, you just trot and recanter. So they start to understand what you would like them to ask, like, you know, the outcome is correct, even if the actual movement isn't quite what you want. So here I'm doing my canter with the outside bend. You can see it's not quite as good as Dali's. Obviously she's younger. This is also the rein that she finds a little bit more difficult to have the outside bend on. So she's really trying her best, which is all I can ask for. And I'm just trying to hold the contact, and then when she softens, I soften my contact and she carries herself. Here's a little bit on the other rein. So practicing my outside bend. You can see it's a little bit clearer, it's a little bit more obvious. She just does find it a little bit easier, and also her left to right canter flying changes are also better as a result of this stronger canter. And also another technique is to leg yield them away from the track in the canter. If you find that the circle's too hard, do a half circle or just leg yield off the track, and it can be really helpful. So now I go for the flying change. You can see I have my outside bend around the turn, so she's on to the correct bend that we're going to go on to. 3, 2, 1, ask for the change, and I soften and then reward. So I reward her as soon as she softens into the new bend. As I said, that's her better lead change, so that one was good. Then a few times she makes a mistake on the right to left, so I thought I'd lead them in so I can show you exactly what I do. So still the same asking. You can see that she didn't change behind. This is because she actually didn't wait for my aid with the outside leg, so she only changed in front. But then when I put the outside leg on, then she changed behind, so I was very happy with that. Here she fell into the trot and then immediately picked back up the correct lead, so she knew what she was meant to do. It was just the wrong technique, so that's why I rewarded her, because she stayed calm. You know, if that happened in a show, that's no problem. She basically did a change, just not the way we want. Here I asked, this is her again, weaker rein, so much better. So there she did it, but she fell in to the left on the change and kind of cut the turn. So I just asked her to do a circle with a strong bend, leg yield her out to the track just to show her that's what I wanted, and rewarded her then. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a little bit or got a few tips and tricks for teaching your own horse how to do a flying change. As I said, it's a lot of exercises that will help your horse be more supple. So instead of, you know, if you're struggling with the flying change, instead of just trying to train the flying change, try train all the other things around it, and then the change should come easier. So that is kind of my technique. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want any other training videos, please let me know. I love it. I really love the process of training horses and trying to understand how they learn and find new ways to teach them. So if you have any questions or anything else you want a video on, let me know. I'll do my best. I'm not an expert. We're all learning in this sport. I will catch you in the next video. See you guys.